I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long. But the crew rises to the top, oh yeah. You've been talking to the apes and the giraffes and chimpanzees again, haven't you? Yes, I'm excited!
Oh, we're ready to go. Well, good evening, everybody. I should have drank my espresso before you get started. Did I come here to drink coffee, or what did I come to do?
You had a whole 15 seconds at least.
Yeah, right. Well, hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Fast Freddie Rocks Youngstown. From the state-of-the-art Youngstown studios right here in beautiful downtown Youngstown, Ohio. And it's good to be back. I was under the weather a little bit last week. It was going around last week, big time. You know, it'll probably come back again because for me anyways, I noticed that if it stays really cold, it doesn't bother me. I was really used to the cold weather. But then when you get that one day like we got coming up, a 50-degree day, and then all of a sudden it goes back to 30, that always throws me off a little bit. Yeah. But could you believe that February is over? This is the last show of February. I mean, it just went by like that.
It certainly did.
You know, it's like summer's going to be over. Summer's going to be over. We're going to be starting bike nights and stuff. We'll be going on a little hiatus. And the next thing you know, we'll be back here and it'll be September. And we'll go like, where did that go? You'll be like, yeah,
I'd rather the cold months fly by than the warm months.
Yeah, but sure. they fly by equally fast. Oh, okay. Jay Bird, Sap Dog's in the house. How you doing, Sap Dog? TJ in the house. Oh, I'm talking about motorcycle ride. We got three guys here ready to ride. And Joe wants to know what my Traficant shirt says. This shirt says Traficant for President.
I can in red.
Yeah,
I love it.
Right. Yeah. Remember that? That's how you had a Traficant for President with the I can. Oh, yeah. So we got that going on. So Jay Bird, Sap Dog, I heard he had a little incident. He went to buy a motorcycle. And I'm not going to go on to that, but I heard all about your trials and tribulations, Sap Dog, but they probably knew it was you and they saw you coming. So Cynthia's checking in. Hello, Cynthia. How are you? Dave Price, sup? And my sister Lenny back in New York. She stopped by for a couple of days, but you know, fortunately she wasn't around yesterday for the Pens game because she's a big Rangers fan, you know, so. You know,
it's always opposite of you. Always.
Yeah, right. No, like I've said before, it's a desperate cry for attention.
Yeah.
You know, why do you live in Youngstown? Are you a Rangers fan? I mean, come on. Why do you live in Youngstown and, you know, you're a Yankees fan? You know, it's to piss off your family and try to get a little bit of attention is what that's all about. I'm on to it. You know, I'm down with it. I know what's going on. She's not fooling me, you know, but anywho. Let me take a little sip of this espresso. Joe always makes the perfect cup of espresso.
It is the best.
It is. I look forward to Tuesday just for that. So Vinny Styles says Traficant for President. I'll tell you what, though, when you look back on Jimbo, and I mean, he was yelling about all this stuff back in the 90s. If you go and look back on his speeches, he was against China. He was against NAFTA. He was against immigration. He wanted strong borders. He was yelling his head off about that years and years ago, way before anybody else. And a lot of people looked at him like he was a goofball. Well, in a way he was, but he was our goofball. Hey, Lizzie, Fireball Queen in the house. You know, but he was our goofball. And I'll tell you what, though, that guy was something else. You know, some people have a bad feeling about him and said he was a crook and everything, but he had a lot of redeeming qualities. And I really do think that he fought for the Mahoning Valley. And he really used to get a lot of publicity, national publicity. Remember when Donahue came to Youngstown and they did like a 2-3 day town hall live from Stamp Auditorium, and you know, people like Vic Rubenstein and the people that were against him were yelling at him and everything else. But boy, Traficant was definitely one of a kind, man. And I had a couple of encounters with him over the years, you know.
Positive encounters? Or?
You know, yeah, I would say with Jim, or, you know, and Jim was one of those guys that was always, you know, he was a football player. He played football for Pitt. He was a pretty tough guy, you know. He was a big guy, too. And he was one of those guys that always put you in a headlock or, you know, whenever you squeeze your hand and pull you and stuff like that. So whenever you'd run into him, it's, you know, like that kind of stuff. And I remember this one day, we were doing a benefit for Traficant. We used to do, yeah, you know, now that's interesting. He said Trump would have picked Traficant to run with him. My question is, though, was Traficant too much of a maverick to team up with these guys? And, you know, I mean, they share a lot of things, but, you know, when you look at the core of Traficant and the core of Trump, you know, Jimbo, he was a son of a truck driver. He lived right up the street from us on Powers Hill. He lived on Samuel Street. I mean, he was born right there, a block from the steel mill, and his dad was a truck driver. And you know, he come from an entirely different world. I mean, he definitely came from a working class background and, you know, working class neighborhood. And I think they might have had that difference there, you know. But like I say, I don't want to get into that kind of stuff. But Jim, man, when you look at and how about those 1 minute speeches he used to do with "Beam Me Up"? And I mean,
classic.
You know, you couldn't get enough of the guy. When Traficant was congressman, when we were on the air, we never had a lack of material. I mean, that really helped the big radio show on CD 106 because with him, it was always something different every single day. It was something with Jim, you know? And I mean, we were just writing these bits like they would just come right off the top of your head. Anything he would say, we would write a song about or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
We did 50 Ways to Be Indicted by Paul Simon, 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. We did that. We did a song called Mob Town to Michael Stanley, My Town, which was a pretty good one. We also did one, the Congressman to the Candyman, and it was like, you know, yeah, who can take some bullshit, you know, spin it all around, you know, the Congressman can. You know what? I should put those things out on Spotify or something.
Do it
on, you know.
Are they out there? Maybe on YouTube somewhere?
No. But I should just do the whole CD. We put the CD out. We did the Jim Traficant birthday party at the Royal Oaks one year. And it was just crazy. It was just off the hook. And we put the CD out. And Jason Van Hoos, the artist, has that one famous painting he did of Traficant. He's like Jesus and with a crown of thorns on and everything. So, yeah, those were some wild times back then. So anyways, you know, we were doing this. Linda Carson says Traficant wasn't afraid to cuss on TV. Oh, he wouldn't. He did not care. You'd have him on. He'd drop F-bombs, you know, bullshit and everything else. He didn't care, live or not. You know, yeah. He would just say whatever was on his mind and he would just go.
I would love to see him when he was in his prime in today's climate. He could probably have, because now it's a little weirder than it was. It's not so straight-laced and whatever. I think he'd be more effective.
Oh, yeah. And plus with social media, and if he would have got on there and, you know, just with all his slogans, and I'll tell you what, if he would have been able to put those minute speeches out like on Facebook and on X, and if he was able to push that big blitz out there, oh, man, there's no telling where he would be. Yeah, he spoke the simple man's English. That's right. There was nothing fancy about Traficant.
That's right.
And I'll tell you another thing that some people disagree with, but, you know, he was really out to help people. Sometimes he helped the wrong people, but, you know, friends helping friends. What's wrong with that? I think that's the Youngstown mantra, you know, friends helping friends. Hey,
Croatians helping the Croatians.
Hey, you know, I needed some work on my boat. You needed this or whatever. Hey, you know, you're my friend. I'm helping you.
That's right.
And you're helping me. But that used to be, I think, the mantra of the city of Youngstown. Like, I'm just helping out a friend. That's all. Although, you know what, though, the one flaw in that argument was when you're helping out your friend, you usually don't expect anything in return. That's how you help out a friend. You help them out and you move on.
But the shit that he was doing goes on every day in regular politics. So they're all doing the same shit.
Yeah. He lived on a boat when he was in Washington, D.C. Nothing fancy, you know. And so anyways, to get to this story. Oh, but getting back to that too, he really did help people. And we, you know, when we would have him on the air, and some people say, "Oh, that was all a fake," you know, those were planted calls. But wherever I would go afterwards, like say I had him on the air, and then like for the next week or two, people would come up to me and say, hey, thanks for having Jim on the air. You know what? I had this problem with Social Security and I called his office and he helped me out. Or my son got into this thing with in the military and he's got in some kind of trouble or whatever. And, you know, Jim made some calls and helped straighten it out. Or, you know what? I was having a problem with the VA and he really did help a lot of people. I know that as a fact, you know. And so anyways, we used to do these jamborees at Ridge Lake in Mineral Ridge and would have like 5 or 6 country/rock bands. And you could buy, you know, half-gallon jugs of beer and people are drinking them like they're drinking, you know, a cup of beer, you know. Nice. And we used to have these crazy jamborees. So the one day, the guy that owned the place, I think, was involved in politics there. A couple of the guys were involved in politics in Mineral Ridge. And he says, hey, we got to do one of these for Traficant for a fundraiser. And it's like, you know, I don't really do that kind of stuff. But, you know, since the radio station was being paid, you know, it's like, okay, you guys go out there and we're going to do this jamboree. And it's a fundraiser for Traficant. And so we go out there. And so as soon as we mentioned the word jamboree, Ridge Lake, all our lunatics are out there, right? I mean, they don't care if it's for Traficant. They don't care. All they know is there's going to be 6 bands and we're going to have beer out of plastic jugs. And me and Gary Z are going to host the festivities and it's just going to be a crazy, goofy time. Well, you know, when you see something like that, the vibe's a little different, you know, and, you know, there's like families coming out and stuff. It's just not like, you know, diehard party people who did show up and are balls out and it's a jamboree, you know. So we're sitting in this car, right? And this one dude, you know how these band people are. These rock and roll people. And so we're sitting in the car and this one dude does a line. Okay. And I look over and I see Traficant running towards us full speed ahead. He looks like he's playing for Pitt and he's making a mad dash, you know? And I'm just sitting there going, oh, I just started in the radio business. They're going to be all over because this is when Traficant was really the anti-drug sheriff. And he was passing out little things like how to tell if your kids are on dope. And one of the things that how to tell your kids are on dope was something like spends a long periods of time in his bedroom alone. Well, Viking Jim's mom got a picture of the card. And when Vike was in the bedroom, he wasn't doing drugs. No. Let's just put it that way. And I think to this day, Viking Jim still has a little bit of a little bit of angst about Jim Traficant.
Little drama.
Yeah, I think hey, if your child spends an inordinate amount of time in their bedroom, and it was other things, listens to loud, Black Sabbath music or whatever. So, anyways, there we are. We're sitting in that car. And here I'm just looking, I'm going, what the hell? It's like going in slow motion, Here, the crowd was so sparse, he was just going over to see another crowd of people, and he was running over there to shake their hands. Oh, everybody in that car was like, woo, okay, we need new underwear here. So then as the day goes on, it finally comes to the point where I have to introduce Jim, right? And by this time, I am 3 sheets to the wind, right? And I'm like, oh boy, So I get up there and I think, okay, I'm going to loosen everybody up. I'm going to tell this joke, okay? So I'm up there and I start telling this joke, right? And the joke is going on. It's just this long joke. And the joke is going on, and Traficant's standing on the edge of the stage. And he's kind of watching me, like, okay, come on, hurry it along, And so I go to tell the punchline of the joke, and I completely forget it. I draw a blank. It took me 5 minutes to set up this joke, and everybody was listening. Everybody wanted to hear the joke. And then I go, and then the guy said, oh, shit. And then the guy said, oh, next thing you know, Traficant comes running out of the thing. He grabs me by the collar and boom, smacks me right in the head.
Oh my goodness.
And I go, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jim. And everybody went crazy.
They totally forgot about the joke.
They
he
totally
saved your ass.
The day, yeah, with a big smack right to the head. Boom. I was like, what the hell?
So do you remember the punchline, by the way? Do you know
after I did, yeah. Right. Yeah. It was something like, it was, let me see if I can even remember the joke. Oh, okay. So this guy and his buddies were
oh shit, here we go again.
This guy and his buddies were talking in the bar, and they said, hey, listen, coming up this Sunday, we're gonna all get together, we're gonna go up to the Browns game. And the guy goes, oh man, I can't go this Sunday. He goes, Johnson says the walleye are biting like crazy up on Lake Erie. A couple weeks go by again, and they say the same thing. This time it's like, hey, listen, we're gonna go down to Mountaineer, play some casino and everything, and have some fun. He goes, you want to go along? He goes, man, guys, I would like to, but Johnson says the walleye are biting like crazy on Lake Erie. Third week goes by, same thing. They wanted to go somewhere else. They go, you coming along this time? He goes, nope, I can't. Johnson says the walleye are biting like crazy on Lake Erie. His buddies finally said, since when did you become a fisherman? He goes, I'm not. When Johnson's up there fishing, I'm banging his old lady. So that was the joke.
Oh,
but partying from like 10 o'clock in the morning till it was time for Jim to go on stage. It was a little different, but that was one of my main Traficant stories there, man. Oh, it was such a bizarre day too, because we weren't there for any political reasons or anything. We were just there to do our little thing that we do at lakes in the middle of summer, we did some other things with him over the years, and it's a shame. I think that guy had a lot of potential. I think he could have went really far. So that's what I was thinking there. But even his 1 minute speeches, and it'd have something about jobs that were available. Could you look that up? Could we throw one of his 1 minute speeches on? I mean, if it's not too much. Jim Traficant 1 minute speeches.
Okay, Traficant 1 minute speech. We'll just sample this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well. Okay, come on. Why do we need commercials? Oh, I know. That's what pays us. Okay, here he comes.
Classic.
And that was just one at random. Find another one. Those are pretty good, man. That is a true classic.
All right.
Jim Traficant's Big Bite. Okay. I mean, I miss this guy. And think of the characters that we had in Youngstown politics with him and Hannah. I used to go at it. Him and the Moose, man. Okay. We're going to yield some time over to the congressman from Ohio. What do you think? One more? We on a roll here? What do you think? One more? One more from Big Jim. Why not?
Let's see.
Okay, yeah, that one already said the family jewels. Boy, the job creation one, if you ever could find that one, was just like he was talking about the jobs that were available, like nipple fitters and pig rectum stretchers or something. It was.
Let's try this one.
I remember when I was going to try to get him committed because he thought he was crazy.
Oh, there had to have been people that were prim and proper that were just aghast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Here he comes. Polyester suit. He forgot his joke too. Somebody smacked him in the face. Oh man, what a guy. One of a kind, man. See, with him, there was never a dull moment. You would just come up with one funny thing after another. Jim Traficant's Bell Bottom Warehouse, and he'd always have some kind of funny sound clip in there, and it was just endless. Anything that would happen the next day, you would just automatically go, "Oh, that's a Traficant bit," and you would just write it down, and it would be funny. And I tell you, we didn't have to think all that much because everything just wrote itself, and we got into the groove. Going, I should put that CD back out.
Totally.
A lot of funny stuff on there. A lot of funny stuff. 50 Ways to Be Indicted, Mob Town. Jim Traficant Hair Care Center, and it'd be like, yes, I do my hair with a weed whacker. And there's all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And,
yeah, he was not affected by.
They couldn't hear it. There was no audio.
Yeah, we'll have to weave that back in there.
Oh,
later.
okay.
There's some video and audio.
Oh man, we didn't get the audio. All right, we'll weave it back in. Sorry about that. Technical difficulty. Oh man.
Good stuff.
Well, you could look him up. Just look up 1 minute speeches, and don't do it now. At least stick around for a couple more minutes and hear some of this, as we like to refer to, jibber jabber.
Jibber jabbering on the fast food.
Somebody asked me that the other day. They go, "Hey, if you come out here, I don't know. We just want you to, get on there and do that stuff you do, that jibber jabber." I go, "Okay, I'm a pretty good jibber jabberer. So if you want some jibber jabber, I guess I'm the one to bring it." Oh, that's some good stuff here. Here's one, speaking, since Traficant was talking about rectums and sleeping on your stomach and vagina monologues and things of that. You know what, though? With him talking about that, he might have to be the minister of culture for the Kennedy Center.
Yes.
Because he seemed to be on the same track there. Jimbo wasn't finding the vagina monologues as artsy stuff there.
Wasn't as popular in his day.
No, especially like he said, when men are suffering from rectal cancer and you're making jokes about your
serious stuff.
Yeah. So that might have been the guy. That might have been the guy. But Traficant. I always bring this up, and nobody could ever come up with a really good answer. If you ever made a movie, who would you have play Traficant? I mean, who's out there that would be, because he was a big guy, And who would you get,
Man, there's got to be a method actor that would take that on. Let's see. Who has his?
They got to be tall.
Uh-huh.
They got to be like well over 6 foot. Like maybe like Jeff Bridges, maybe. He might be able to pull that off. He was able to play John Wayne, right? Didn't he do one of those John Wayne movies. So he might be able to do it, but boy, if they ever made a movie about him and the whole situation in Youngstown at that time, that would be a really, really good movie. And with the characters, man, the characters, who in Hollywood's going to dream up Don Hanai? Who's going to dream up Jim Traficant?
It was a good era. Like
that would be something. And just with those speeches, we got
to talk to the Youngstown Film Commission and see if they'll do a Traficant movie and distribute it to the nation. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So we'd have to pick somebody from around here to play. We're not going to be able to get Jeff Bridges. If you were taking like a lower budget, is there anybody in the area? Say a family? So have somebody that resembles?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe me.
You want to do it? You think you pull it off?
Hey, how about the bad haircut turned out to be a wig?
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Didn't you ever see his mugshot?
No.
Look up Jim Traficant's mugshot. Turns out he went to jail. He was bald as a cue ball.
No way.
You know what? That's a perfect way to, okay, where's it at? Keep going. Oh, where's the real one? Where's the real one at? I don't see it. Wait, what is that? Oh, okay. No, that's not him. That's not him. I can't believe that's not up there anymore. Completely bald Phil Spector. Where's it at? How about that guy beating the Justice Department, though? Man, I went to that one trial. Okay, there you go. What does that one say there about Traficant for sheriff? What's his deal as sheriff? Let's see. This is my political deal. When you elect me sheriff, I guarantee that people pushing drugs on our kids in our community will be moving out of Mahoning County fast, real fast. I don't mean token arrests around election time. I plan to clean up our county 365 days a year. Jim Traficant, a hardworking public servant for all people. There you go. Big Jim. What a character. Jimbo. Oh, they don't have that one up there. I'm surprised they don't have it. That's pretty crazy. But anyways, we should have wore our bell bottoms and our denim leisure suits and everything. So that's what's going on there. Here's one for you, since we're talking about rectums and prison.
How do we always get on rectums?
I didn't. Traficant brought it up. I didn't say a single thing about rectums. I didn't say a single thing. What did I say about rectums? Nothing.
About 9 times already we've said rectums on this show.
Yeah, because he brought it up.
Okay.
He brought it up. Hey, you know what today is, too? Kind of a sad day for me. This is it. My last Great Lakes Christmas ale. Mm-hmm. My final one of the season. It was in the back of the fridge, and I thought, you know what? For the show today, I'm going to bring it out. Remember when they would bust out the Great Lakes Christmas Ale? That used to be a big thing. Yes. Right around Halloween. Next thing you know, man, everybody say, the Christmas ale's in. The Christmas ale's in, man. And everybody would go, that's Great Lakes has to be one of the first really microbrews, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
That they kind of got this started. And I think the Great Lakes Christmas Ale really around here was like one of the first, microbrews to become popular.
Do you know what this means, by the way? This now means in an early spring, not 6 more weeks. So as soon as you run out of Christmas ale,
yeah, that's right. You know what?
Corner.
Well, you know what, Phil? I don't know though. I'm kind of pulling for Phil. I'm going to go. Oh, now no audio at all. They're not hearing us. Uh-oh. Come on, TJ. You're missing all this, the stuff that I'm pontificating right now, the jibber jabber that you're missing out on.
I see audio.
Okay, we're seeing it. Okay. You getting us now?
I don't know.
Billy and Bobby that used to live on Alexander Street. I can't think of them right now. Okay.
Those of you in chat, can you hear us? Can you hear audio? Just let us know so we can move on from that. It looks good on our end. Can't hear anything.
Oh, okay. And this goes for you too. Jaybird says we're not bald, we're follically challenged. Okay, sorry about that. Right. I do. When you think of me and political correctness, we go hand in hand. So there you go. Linda says no voice. Lizzie can't hear us. And Jaybird can.
What the heck?
But Jaybird's just hearing voices in his brain anyway, so he doesn't know what he's hearing. Okay. Lizzie can hear us now. Can you hear me now? TJ's still saying no. Mary hears us. Linda don't.
Listen, I'll come to your houses and fix your audio here in a moment. No, it looks good on our end.
All right. Yeah, maybe it's your phone or something.
Maybe.
You got to pay them bills, after a while. Okay, Jaybird's listening on Facebook. Linda can hear us now. Okay, Lizzie's back. All right. Boy, you guys aren't going to believe all the good stuff you missed there in that last minute or two. I mean, it was some of the most amazing thoughts that I have ever shared on a podcast. And
it's a deep state. They censored us.
Yeah, I really don't want to get into it any deeper. Well, you know what? Because that's where I was going with that. When you were talking about the weather, and you know what? I'm kind of pulling for Punxsutawney Phil right now. Punxsutawney Phil is like one of the lowest in accuracy for predicting the weather. I think in the last 2 decades, he's only been right 7 times or whatever.
But Fred, 50,000 people showed up to see that.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? I mean, but here's what I'm worried about with Phil. I'm worried that Elon Musk is out there and he's going to go down the list of groundhogs and he's going to go, okay, what are we keeping Phil around? This guy hasn't been there. He got to go. We need a more accurate groundhog than this guy. What are we keeping this guy around?
During that whole thing, Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, was there, and he was talking about the animal rights groups are trying to get Phil banned from that.
Yes. Yeah, and they want to do it like a gender reveal thing or something, and they bake a cake, and they cut the cake open, and if there's a snowflake in there, which... hey, here we go. I mean, please, come on, man. It's the groundhog. Actually, Phil gets treated better than any groundhog in the world.
Heck yeah.
Any of those groundhogs. Buckeye Chuck, Punxsutawney Phil, Long Island Louie, I think is the one that's the most accurate from Staten Island. I thought we should get. We should get our own groundhog and like the camel groundhog, what we call him, some kind of mob related name, some kind of blatant Italian name, Louisville Luigi,
Tone.
Carmine, Camel Carmine, and so that's what we would do there. And they would just bribe the people to make sure that the weather was good and,
tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah. Or, you know what? The Italian groundhogs will say, we don't know nothing. What's it going to be? We talk. What are we going to do? I don't know nothing.
We didn't see nothing.
Oh, yeah. That would be the Italian groundhogs from Lowville and Camel.
Yep.
That would be something. So then where were we going? Okay, that was, we got a little technical difficulty. Angela says she could hear. Maybe the people need to turn up their volume. They probably, Angela, turned it down on purpose is what I'm thinking. It's just like they hit the mute button and I was like, okay, you know what? All right, let's move on to something else. But I'll tell you what, though, I had a good couple weeks here. A lot of great shows around the area. I went to see Warren Haynes, formerly the Allman Brothers and from Government Mule. He was over at MGM Northfield. Boy, is that guy good. I mean, he's one of those guys that you would think, we were talking a few weeks ago about how some of these people are just so talented, but the market's not out there or whatever, or people just don't know about him. Mass audiences don't know about him. The people that know about him know how good he is, and he's in that whole, Americana / roots / blues jam band genre that's going around out there. And I'll tell you what, he is so great. He played for the Allman Brothers for so many years, and he's got his own band, Government Mule, and he jams with everybody. This guy just loves to play, and he's just fantastic, And he did, a couple Allman Brothers songs and his songs, and He did Steely Dan, Pretzel Logic, that was just off the charts. He did U2, One Love, and I'll tell you what, he was fantastic. So that was a good one. And the Robbins Theater lately has just been jamming. I missed the Michael Stanley one because I was under the weather, but that was really a good one. And Gary Markowski and Michael Gismondi jam with the band and everything. And so the Michael Stanley one went really good. And then this past week, Friday night, it was that arena rock show. And they do like a tribute to AC/DC and Van Halen and Alice Cooper and Guns N' Roses and, pretty much the stuff that we play on Y103. And I'll tell you what, that place was so crazy. That was one of the first shows I ever saw there. Nobody sat down the whole time. Everybody was on their feet. The ladies were all dancing and everybody was singing along to every word.
Nice.
And it was a great party. And then we come back the next night and it was Donnie Iris. And boy, I tell you what, Donnie's been, battling some health issues and stuff, 80 years old. And I'll tell you what, that guy is still rocking it. He was just rocking it. Donnie Iris, man, he has been around forever. And he's just like one of those guys. And first off, he's a really nice guy. And I mean, he just comes out and puts on a great show. Every time he comes out, you're going to get a good show.
Yep.
I think a lot of those bands from Pittsburgh are like that. Like the Clarks. Have you ever seen the Clarks put on a bad show?
No.
The Clarks always put on a good show. I know my buddy Norman Nardini, he would always put on a good show. Joe Grishecki, he's another one. It's just something about those guys that, boy, they come out and, and that's why people still go see them because, you're going to go there and it's going to go. But I'll tell you what, for the issues that Donnie was dealing with and stuff, perfect, man. And everybody just had a great time. If you have not been to the Robbins Theater yet, I suggest you get down there. It is definitely a gem in this area. A lot of people go, oh, we don't have these places to go see these bands anymore, whatever, But for what it is, and I know some people aren't big tribute band fans, but here's the thing. When that 80s, that arena rock tribute band, okay, they were younger guys, and not that I want to see guys on stage with their shirts off. The ladies were enjoying it. But I mean, these were guys that could actually still come out on stage with their shirts off, you know what I mean? And they were jumping off the speakers and things like that, I'm huffing and puffing, I went kind of on the side of the stage and I climbed up these steps to take a picture. I almost went tumbling down the steps, and I'm like, it's good to see some of these people bringing a little bit of energy.
Heck yeah.
Because you see some of these guys are getting up there, Oh, the Hoags is retiring again on March 31st. All right, Hoags, we'll do something.
And the rehiring will be in June.
Yeah. So what day we're going to have a pool is to see what day the rehiring is going to be. So anyways, it was good. So, okay. I saw Paul McCartney on that Saturday Night Live. Paul's getting a little old, you still love him. I would still go see him. But let's face it, man, when you're in your 80s, you aren't like you used to be. And nobody's Superman. Old man time, father time is going to get you no matter what. Yep. At some point, he's undefeated. He gets everybody. And Paul Simon, I didn't think he did a very good job on Saturday Night Live either. And he's going out on the road. And that's why I say with some of these tribute bands, at least you're, if you want to see this music and you want to perform with a little bit of energy and,
someone in their prime.
And once these guys start retiring for good and they all just fade away, if you still like that music, where are you going to get it?
Right.
Is it just going to, the music is so good, you don't want to fade away, so that's why I really have no problem with tribute bands. You know what I do have a problem with though, is some of these bands that have zero original members and they push themselves off as like the band.
Yep.
I mean, Skinner gets away with it because, they do have like some relatives and they kind of like respect the legacy and they're carrying on the legacy. And that all depends on how credible you come across.
Right.
I think the audience ends up deciding that, that when they could buy their ticket, will they keep coming back? Were they happy?
Right.
Did it seem like they got their money's worth? Did it seem like it was a real deal? But some of these guys, I mean, when they come out there, it's like, how could you even call yourself that? like the Guess Who that was going around for a while, it was like the drummer, and that was it. Now, when you think of the Guess Who, if it's not Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman, how could you even go out there and call yourself that? You know, and there's some of these bands, you know, or like there are so many of them out there that are just like, okay, that's not one original guy. You know what, though? If you want, but I think they should maybe make that a little clearer or whatever. I don't know. But you know what? Some people still go see Foghat. They don't care it's one guy, you know, because the music is so good. And in your mind, you're thinking about all the great times that you've had with Foghat over the years or whoever, you know, you sit there and think, oh man, Foghat was the first concert I ever went to with my buddies. And we went to the Richfield Coliseum and we got all messed up and we lost the car and, you know, things like that. So a lot of that music does have, I've seen, yeah, you know, let's face it. Some of these guys do pull it off. I can't wait to see Blue Oyster Cult. As a matter of fact, I was going to say Blue Oyster Cult is one of the bands that definitely pulls it off. Eric Bloom, you know, Buck Dharma, they're both, you know, they're one of them bands that I think really sound good for that. You know, they're not a Mick Jagger was the highlight of my summer, you know, but you know, Willie Nelson, 90 years old. I respect Willie. I've seen Willie a million times, but I kind of like the Willie Nelson of when I was at Star Lake or, you know, Star Lake, Buckeye Lake and places like that, you know, where it was, you know, balls out. But I get it. I mean, I have respect for these guys. I'll be at those shows. I'll be at there. I was at the Stones, you know, Paul McCartney come around. I would be there. Bob Dylan, I'll be there, you know.
I wonder if in the future they're going to have like franchise bands. Wasn't it like New Edition where they had all new people in it on a regular basis?
Yeah. Once you hit puberty or something,
you're out,
you were out.
Yeah,
right.
So you buy the band's album and they keep swapping in new talent in there. You know?
Yeah. You know, well, Kiss had actually talked about that too. You know, you know, it's just a franchise. It just keeps going. And you know what? That's how some of these guys justify that. Like, you know. The one time I interviewed the people for Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and that was another one. It wasn't one person that was in it. And you know, and it was kind of like, but the music was so good and the band pulled it off and they sounded awesome. But you know, it's almost, I don't know. It's not that I'm like a snob about this stuff either. You know, if I go somewhere and there's a good band, that's my main thing. I go to these shows with one purpose in mind, and that's to have a good time. I don't go there as like a music critic to sit there and, oh, that was off. And he's got, you know, I go there and say, man, you know what? That was a good time, man. You know, Mark Farner, I just saw him not too long ago. And hey, he played American Band and which even is his song. But I mean, he did I'm Your Captain and all the, you know, and it's just like, okay, that was good, you know. Was it Grand Funk of 1971, you know, selling out Shea Stadium? No. But, you know, am I either? No. You know, I get it. And I'm not like, I hope I'm not coming across like, you know, oh yeah, screw all that stuff, you know. But, I mean, look at them blues guys, man, John Lee Hooker and B.B. King and everything. Those guys, you know, they stayed to the end. Although, you know what? I saw B.B. King at the end and it was really kind of sad. You know, he played with Eric Clapton in Chicago, and it was kind of sad. But once again, you were bringing him out for the respect, and you know, and I get it. And you know, B.B. King, man, you know, good to see him on stage. Well, look at Buddy Guy. There's another one, Bud. You want to talk about another guy that's still out there doing it, more limited now, but Buddy Guy, man, he's got to be close to 90. But then you look at somebody like Frankie Valli and you see those videos of him with the bad lip syncing. I mean, he almost looks like a robot. He looks like something from a Disney ride, and he's like standing there and his mouth is kind of moving and the mic is so far away that you could tell is like how frail this guy is, that there's no way that his voice could be projecting to that microphone and sounding like it did Sherry Baby in 1964. Yeah. You know,
done wrong.
Some of them are just like, you look at it but you know, it is what it is, you know. You know, I think there's also something to say to seeing living legends too, you know.
Right.
So It's just the way it is.
But it's a risk, though, because you want to be remembered a certain way. And if you do it badly like that, like that's going to be the last memory you have of that person.
You know what? Some people felt that way about Phil Collins on that last tour. Phil's in terrible health. And, you know, that last thing, they practically had to wheel him out. He had to sit the whole time. And you're just sitting there thinking, man, I want to think of Genesis, Trick of the Tail, or even the 80s, you know, when they were just, you know, everywhere. Yep. But, you know, like I say, you still like to see the living legends. You want to say, yeah, I saw him. But I don't know. We're kind of getting into this area now that I think, you know, we're not going to be able to stop it. You know, we're not going to be able to stop it. And what's kind of sad is, and I don't even know why we went down this road, but it's like these guys are all the same age. You know what I mean? They're all relatively the same age. You know, Paul McCartney's like 82. I think Ringo's 84. You know, Bob Dylan's 83. Mick, you know. So, okay. Hogue said, when I retire again, I could still get my beard trimmed for $4 at the inmate barber. Oh, that's good. All right. Well, that'll help you out there a little bit when you're on a pensioner or retiree there, and you could still go out to the prison and get a beard trim for $4.
Would you let an inmate trim your beard? That's like one thing. Give an inmate a weapon. Like, I don't know, man.
Especially when you were a guard.
I know.
Oh man. Well, they got to love you for that. They probably figure, well, if he's going to come out here and, you know, he must be all right.
In those Italian movies where the straight razor barbers and you're like, I know what's going to happen. They're going to draw that thing right across his throat and he's done.
Right. You know what's happening. Yeah. I don't know if they let him use the straight razor out there or not. I don't know. They might have certain rules there. You might only get the electric razor on that, you know. Maybe some scissors. It's a little hard to trim the beard though with those rounded off scissors with the plastic thing on it. Okay. Oh yeah. But yeah, you know, that's how I look at all that stuff. I mean, you know, I'm just worried we're coming to the end of an era. That's all. You know, and there's nothing we're going to be able to do to stop it.
Certainly is. And
you know,
we're 5 years away from it being a whole different landscape for sure.
Yeah. You know, now like Bob Dylan, he's coming to Youngstown and he's going to be on the road with Willie Nelson. Now that Bob Dylan movie that come out, everybody's in love with that movie. Everybody's, that's the best movie, you know? Okay, yeah. Hogue says no razors at the prison barbershop. Smart thinking. Yep. Boy, they think about everything out there in the pen, don't they?
Oh yeah. You know, I talked to the other day, Dr. Sue.
Oh yeah.
We're conspiring to bring her in with some of her bourbon.
Oh, okay.
Would you have like a bourbon night here on the Fast Friday show?
I don't know, man. I want to, you know, glorify alcohol use,
consumption.
Yeah.
I figured it PG show like this.
I'm sure Dr. Sue, knowing her bourbon collection, she's probably got some tasty stuff in there.
I'm looking forward to that one. I'll be here.
The one day we did that one show and she bought this bottle of tequila. It was some kind of high-end tequila. And it come in a bottle that looked like the bottle that Jeannie lived in, even fancier from My Dream of Jeannie. And I'll tell you what, this stuff was the smoothest tequila I ever drank in my life. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it was at least $300, $400 for a bottle. Okay. But this stuff went down like I did 2 shots and, you know, I walked away and went about doing my business. And all of a sudden I was like, whoo, I go, man, that's 2 shots of tequila. But it was so smooth and so mellow. It had a little tequila taste, you know, you knew it was tequila, but I mean, there was no burn, no lime, no lemon, no salt, no nothing, man. It was just like, it was as smooth as you could be. So
tequila will get you anyway. Smooth tequila will double get you.
Yeah,
no doubt.
You know what? I saw tequila get somebody this weekend, a buddy of mine. I'm not going to even go into it.
Okay. But everybody's got a tequila story.
You know what? I did have a picture of us drinking tequila from his flask somewhere where we shouldn't have been, where this thing went down. And it was like, I better not put this picture on there. Unless I crop myself out and just put him in there.
Yep.
You know? I should have known something was going to go wrong and it did.
Yes.
So and it was because of tequila. You know, it was because of the tequila. You and Tequila Make Me Crazy. They got that song. Tequila Makes Her Clothes Fall Off. Pour Me Another Tequila. Tequila Sunrise.
I see a theme
Tequila
here.
Sheila. There's a lot of songs out there about tequila.
Yep.
Now, you know what they don't write too many songs though about is Jägermeister. Jaeger's the one that gets people. The only one is that Zach Brown song about, you know, pour me a Jaeger, and, you know, other than that, there's not a lot of songs out there because most people probably have such bad experiences with Jaeger. They don't want to remember them.
Well, all right, give me a top 5 of alcohol that people have bad stories, bad history with. So Jaeger's one of them.
Yeah, Jaeger's one of them. You know, back in the day, it was all those liqueurs that were popular. Remember, it went through like Fireball's the big one now. But then, I mean, back in the day, you had Ouzo, you had peach schnapps that people did. You know, BV. I'm sure a lot of people back in the day drank too many shots of BV at weddings. I'm sure, you know, I can't even look at BV, you know. And back when I would DJ weddings too, and oh, come on, help us finish the shots up, you know, I would announce, I'd say, hey, everybody, make sure you drink a shot of that because they're going to have me help finish them off. And this is the last thing I want to do is sit here and drink like 4 shots of BV, you know,
so bad.
Or the peach schnapps, one of each. Yeah, you know,
Mad Dog.
Yeah. But those aren't even around anymore today. Like people don't, although I did take a picture one day at one of the last shows down at the Youngstown Amphitheater. Somebody left like a half a bottle of Mad Dog outside before they went in. I was like, okay, there's some old schoolers. It probably must have been the left end thing, right? You know, because there we go. Dennis T. Menace, we love you, brother. Yeah, it was somebody really old school to bring out a big bottle of Mad Dog. I mean, who drinks that stuff anymore? I mean,
can you buy it still? Is it
yeah. And then they got some like kind of fruity flavors and tropical blast and stuff. I look at that and I go, that is a headache and a hangover. I'm going to puke just looking at it.
Yes.
But you know what? I mean, I think, you know what? It's hard to say nowadays because, you know, when all your friends are older, I think everybody is in the groove now where you don't really get that way, you know, you don't get so stupid that you're, you know, I think everybody knows how to manage it pretty good where you kind of, all right, you know, a couple shots here, a couple beers. I think people know once you get to a certain age, you learn how to pace yourself. And I don't think kids today, younger people, not kids, you know, but I think a lot of them, you know, they're not out there pounding them like we used to do back in the day. You know, they're not going out to some drive-through somewhere with a fake ID to get 3 bottles of Ripple and several quarts of Colt 45. Hey, you know,
cheaper the better.
Yeah, Mickey's malt liquor. We're gonna get the wide bottles and go ride around town and throw them out the window like grenades. Yeah, you know, people don't have fun like that anymore. You know. Yeah, you know, you don't see it anymore. Instead, though, like I say, now people our age, they're going to pay $15 for a shot of bourbon, you know?
Right.
That's what I'm going to smoke a cigar. Maybe I'll have a couple shots of bourbon here and
a little more refined.
Yeah. I think, you know, or like most of my friends, you know, I mean, it's pretty much the, you know, Jack, Crown, you know, I would say that, you know, some people like vodka and tequila. You know, margaritas are still my favorite. The other day was margarita day. And boy, I just went through my phone and I found about 40 pictures of me drinking margaritas at various places. And I looked at that and I go, wow, I've sure had some fun with margaritas, man. You know, several, you know, I was at Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville in Chicago. I was at the one at Niagara Falls. I was at the one in New York City. I'll tell you what, if you are a Jimmy Buffett fan, or even if you're not, the Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville, it's on Times Square. It's on like the 32nd floor of this building. And it is so cool. But not everybody knows about the 32nd floor. You know, they kind of have it that like, you know, they have like the street front where like, oh, it's kind of touristy and you come in but then they have like the Margaritaville Deluxe, you know, which is like on the 5th floor. But then you go around this corner and you go up to like the 32nd floor and you're on the rooftop. Oh man.
Nice.
And they had some of the best margaritas there. Oh yeah, Jaybird says Sandusky margarita. Hey Jay, I put a picture of that on my collection of every year we go to Sandusky Bike Week, and it's always been our tradition to get a pitcher of strawberry margaritas. They are usually the best. You know, we cannot go to Sandusky. Yeah, we cannot go to Sandusky without going to Margaritaville. It was our annual tradition. It still is. We'll be up there this year again. And we get these pitcher of strawberry margaritas, and they were always the best. This last time around, and if you look on my Facebook page and you see all those pictures I posted of various margaritas, the woman that mixed these just poured like a whole, I ordered 2 because we had so many people with us. And I said, man, we're going to have 2 pitchers because we have so many people. I think she forgot to put the strawberry in. And I got a picture of her, and she's got a bottle of Triple Sec in one hand and a bottle of 1800 in the other hand. And she just filled both pitchers up to the top. And I think she dropped a strawberry in there. I think she dipped a strawberry in there. And it was like, okay, so we go to sit down and we got to bring them back to the table. It was nothing but pure tequila with a little bit of Triple Sec.
Oh my goodness.
And nobody even wanted to like pound them because it was like you drank one and you're just sitting there going, holy shit.
Whoa.
So we get on the bikes and then we go down to this other place, which we probably shouldn't have. And it was like we go to Ray's on the Bay, and it was kind of like, I'm sitting down here for a while. I ain't budging, you know.
Whoa.
But this woman, it was just like straight up tequila. She gave us 2 pitchers of tequila. And I was like, okay. And it was, yeah, the Margaritaville in Sandusky's a lot of fun.
Some people would pay extra to get all that extra pour of the liquor, right?
Oh yeah. And like I say, you look on my Facebook page and you go through those pictures, you'll get close to the end and you'll just see her like both bottles.
I'm going to look this sucker up because I want to see why you're talking.
You know, there's a video version. There's just still pictures. You look at the still picture version.
Is it on your personal page or
yeah? It's on my personal page.
I'm going to find this sucker.
Yeah, you got to look at it because I'll tell you what, it is pretty good. It is really pretty good. Let's see. And you know what the best one out of the whole bunch of those were? And there's a ton of pictures. It was the one on the rooftop of Jimmy Buffett's on Times Square. And this guy, they had a special kind of salt. It was all top shelf. I think the margarita cost $30, and it had like a dried lime, you know, yeah, so let's see. If you look at those pictures, there's me at a Jimmy Buffett concert with a parrot on my head. Then there's some at the Navy Pier. Then there's me making margaritas at a tailgate party. And then you can see me with some guy that's just plastered at the Jimmy Buffett show. Then you got the perfect margarita at the regular margarita at Margaritaville. Margarita gold and silver tequilas, margarita triple sec, orange. How do you say that? I could never pronounce this. And I always want to call it orange Caraco, but it's not orange Caraco. Curacao. Orange Caraco. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Lime juice. And then there's a big margarita with a Corona in it.
Dang.
That's Trey Agaves. And there I am. This is me enjoying a margarita at the Tiki Bar at the Sandbar on Clearwater Beach. Best place to drink a margarita, hands down.
Yep.
You know, hands down. As you can see, I mean, that is my #1 place to go. And then there I am at Jimmy's Crow Bar, another rooftop bar in Clearwater Beach. And there I am just enjoying a margarita. And there's some palm trees and a boat as my view from enjoying a margarita.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another good one. That was somewhere in Tampa. That was a good margarita. You could tell just by looking at it. Frenchie's Rockaway Grill. Got to get one of those on Clearwater Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Margaritaville in Sandusky. There we are. Cheers. This here is Jesus. Jesus was the owner of Isla in Sharon, and he passed away, unfortunately, in a mishap at a young age. And he used to make what was called the Jesus margaritas. These things were the craziest, best margaritas you have ever had. And whenever we would do things down at Thunder Harley Davidson, he would always bring in like 2 jugs of these things. And I'll tell you what, by the time everybody got done with those, man, it was like, but if you ever go to Isla in Sharon, it's right there, right up the street from where the Harley shop used to be. I guess it's Hermitage now, but you go down there and you get the Jesus margarita, 2 of those, and
you're good.
Yeah. Oh, and then there she is. There's my girlfriend pouring them 2 pitchers full of tequila upside down. There's a bottle 1800 sitting right there, and there we are, just looking at them. But here's the one. This one here from Jimmy Buffett's. That was the best. The Rooftop in Manhattan. Oh, I'll tell you what was another good margarita I had at the Browns Chiefs game. I had a margarita there. $30.
Really? $30.
$30 for a margarita. Good. Well, it turned out that the bartender there went to Kent State at the same time I did. And I'm talking to her and we're sharing memories. And I think she forgot to quit pouring, she was, fellow Golden Flash and everything. And I'll tell you what, that thing was one of the strongest ones. Margaritaville in Cleveland. Here's a margarita bar in New York. And that's one in Washington, D.C. Yeah, I definitely
$30 margarita. I can't get over that.
And it was the best.
The best.
It was the absolute best. Jaybird thinks we need an intervention here.
We do. No, we're going to bring in Dr. Suter, bring in a bunch of bourbon. That sounds like a good idea, right?
Yeah. But maybe I don't know. To me, margaritas are just a fun drink. When you're drinking a margarita, it's like we're having fun.
Well, I do associate you with margaritas because anytime that we're in the middle of winter and I see you post a picture somewhere on the deck overlooking a beach, it's always you and a margarita.
Yeah. But you know what? When I go to the Sandbar, I got to admit, you know what their main specialty is there? Blueberry mojitos. They're blueberry mojitos. And you know what? Just to be on the safe side, I had went from one end of Clearwater Beach to the other, sampling blueberry mojitos
for science,
to make sure that I found the right one.
Right.
And in the long run, it ended saving me time because this way I didn't have to mess around with those 13 other tiki bars until, this way I found the right one, did a little research, and I settled on the Sandbar as the perfect blueberry mojito.
Did you find that they started tasting better as you got deeper into the samplings?
No, they were good right from the get-go.
Right from the get-go.
Yeah, right from the get-go. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, David Williamson, the Shocker, checking in, and they love it. We had some fun times on party buses. That used to be one of the coolest things we used to do back in the days of CD 106. We used to have party buses, and we would go anywhere. And Shocker has been in a few problems, but it wasn't his fault. He wasn't doing nothing. It was either the cop was being an asshole, the girl he was with was a little psycho and stuff like that. He has never done anything wrong. Unfortunately, he had it's like almost people had it in for him. So anyways, we used to go on these party buses, and people thought that because it was like the CD 106 party bus, that it meant there were no rules whatsoever. No rules at all. No rules at all apply to the CD 106 party bus. This is sovereign territory. There are no rules involved. It's total anarchy, and we do whatever we want. And it was pretty much that way.
Yeah.
We'd go up to places like Put-in-Bay, or, we'd go to opening day at the, Cleveland Stadium, and we'd go to all these concerts. And the day at the Bay buses to Put-in-Bay were just like legendary. I mean, some of those I look back on, and it was just like pure insanity. 50 people pile on a bus with just one mission, and that's to consume as much contraband and as much alcohol as you possibly could get into your system.
Now, did you have to play chaperone? Was there any adult that was kind of overlooking to make sure that behavior was met?
Me and Chris Patrick were kind of loosely,
okay.
But I think it was one of those things where you just had to kind of let it go. And
so I think that's what may have contributed to the anarchy, is there were no adults in charge. Both you and not a good role for either of you.
Well, see, that's why like companies and stuff won't even do that now. They won't even let you do that because of liability. People would fall down and break their arms and stuff, and there'd be fist fights. And boy, the one time we went to the Tribe game, and it was opening day, and somehow our bus and this other bus got into this brawl on the docks, and it was just like a knockdown, drag them out, where people were picking up 2x4s and swinging them at each other and stuff. So you know what the funny thing is about this? Okay, so when the scrappers were first coming out, we were really instrumental in getting the scrappers to come to Youngstown. So we were really instrumental in that, and they had the Erie Seawolves. So what they wanted to do was, hey, let's have a party bus to bring people to Erie to see what this is all about. Now, their idea of a party bus was, okay, grandma and grandpa and the kids are all going to come on this bus because this is who we want to come out to the Scrappers game. And so grandma and grandpa and, and the grandkids are going to come out. Perfect. And, we're all going to have a good time, and we're going to drink lemonade and have some sandwiches on the bus. And, maybe we'll have some fruit punch for everybody. Well, when we started advertising it, the people like Shocker, they heard CD 106 and they heard party bus, and what they thought was a party bus was not what like the Scrappers or grandma and grandpa and the kids that were going to go for a nice ride up to Erie.
I could not imagine.
When people like showed up with bongs and stuff. And then when they were told you're not allowed to have them on there, then people got pissed. This ain't no party bus. You said party bus.
100%. I'm on their side.
And this is what they were trained to believe was a party bus. And that was a good one. It was a little bit of culture shock on that. Mm-hmm. I remember one of the first party buses we ever did with WNIO in the country days. The first one, it was at Tangier. I can't think of who it was now. It might have been Charlie Daniels. And we went through 3 bottles of Jack from 46 and 80 to El Carlos at Lake Milton, because that was our first pit stop, because obviously we had to stop somewhere when they picked us up at the bar to get to Akron. We better make a stop somewhere. Whoa. Well, so the whole thing was we were supposed to stop there for dinner. But like I say, when we went through 3 bottles of Jack on that bus from 46 to El Carlos,
like 20 minutes
to Lake Milton, I was like, oh my,
this is gonna be a long night.
And from that one on, the party buses never wavered from that. Never.
I think you guys ruined party buses in the Valley. I don't think anybody will ever have a party bus ever again.
Not like that, know. But I've been on some crazy ones with different bars to like Browns games and stuff like that. There's been some good ones. And, there's been a lot of people, that would go to like Jimmy Buffett and stuff like that and get a limo, or, one of them fab limo buses and stuff that, they did pretty good on it. I mean, we didn't corner the market, but, ours was free, and
so can we rewind a little bit? Cause I think we just kind of like hit this and then bounced off. the brawl with 2x4s up at wherever that was. How did that happen?
Somebody got off the bus and somebody said something and somebody else said something else and somebody pushed somebody and then somebody else pushed somebody else. Then somebody reaches over and smacks somebody. And then the next thing you know, everybody's going at it. And then another time we had a bus and we were coming back and it was opening day and at Cleveland, and it was also the Final Four for March Madness. And these people on this bus were just getting out of hand. And so the bus driver says to me and Chrissy Patrick, he goes, "You get these people to stop right now," because I guess somebody hit him in the head with a grape. Somebody hit the bus driver. And so he pulls over. It's like you're in high school and in grade school or your mom's going, "Where's the bus ain't moving till," you know? And so he goes, first he gets on the thing and it hit him in the head. And he gets on the thing and he goes, "The next person that does that, I'm pulling this bus over. I'm stopping, and under state code number 438 of the transportation law, I could have you removed from this bus immediately. And if you want to try me, just try it." So then everybody goes back to, okay. And then he goes, "Get on that mic and tell them to knock all this shit off." So I get on the mic and I go, "Hey, listen, guys, this is serious. Quit throwing shit." And the next thing you know, you just saw a wall of debris come flying up to the front of the bus. And I can still see it. It was like, you know, it was just like, whoa. And of course, then we pull over again. And I was like, "I mean it. One more thing. This bus ain't moving." One guy gets up and goes, "I'm going to tell you something, buddy. I got a stool waiting for me over at the sports bar. And if I ain't there when they tip off that March Madness tonight, there's going to be a problem on this bus." And so then we're like, okay. And then we calmed it all down. And
this is like a skit from Saturday Night Live. Then, I could see Chris Farley as the bus driver, right?
Yeah. You know, but yeah, I can still say, you know, "Listen, guys, this is serious. Do not throw one single thing up here. Now knock it off." And here comes just a flood of stuff, grapes and apples and cans and just anything that anybody had in their hand. They just all threw it at me. And it was like, fortunately, I was standing between the drivers, so I was able to, you know, if he would have got hit on that second one, that would have been it. And then that's when we pulled over and he just started going again. But that was like the history of the party bus. I guess nowadays I could see why they don't do that, though. I think the liability is, you know, but I think now we would have people that are a little more laid back these days, you know. But who knows, you know? One time we had this guy get in a fight with this girl. And got in a fight with this girl. And we had to lock him in the bathroom on the bus. It's like, wow, Roger, get it. You know, we locked him up. It's like, you know, you're not going to do that. And so that was kind of crazy. But for the most part, it was always good fun. Everybody wanted to be on those. I mean, the minute we would say, all right, you know, we're going to start taking caller 10 this week to get on this or on that, you know. And some people are like, "Oh, I thought it was grandfathered on. Wasn't I the original? If you were original?" And I mean, we did have a handful of people that were kind of
would be on everyone.
Yeah, because they were there from the start, and we almost felt obligated that, you know, that they did. But I'll tell you what, I haven't been to Put-in-Bay in years, man. And I'm missing out. I don't know.
Same here.
That place used to be, I guess now it's more built up than it really used to be. You know, we're going back to like the 90s when it was still, you know, but from what I understand, but I haven't been there, so I don't know. But yeah, I got to get back up there. That'd be fun. Yeah, we'll do a party bus, the Fast Freddie party bus to Put-in-Bay.
I'm there. Like, I want to see what it's
Day
like
at the Bay.
I want to see if it's like how you described, or those people are maybe
like I say, I think
everybody.
Yeah, I think everybody in my group now is a little more laid back.
Bourbon and cigars,
and probably an edible and a gummy and just.
And then they're just chilled out.
Yeah. You know, I don't think you're going to get the, the 30, 40-year-olds. version, you know, yeah, 30K or, K30 version, as opposed to K65 version, it's a little different. It's a little different, and not that everybody's still not partying, but it's not like at that goofy level anymore. I think everybody, once you get to this point, you kind of know where you go, but every once in a while, then you go off the deep end. All right, let's see here. Miller Murph says Margaritaville at sea. New cruise out of Tampa Bay is the bomb. Oh, I have to look into that. That would be some kind of fun. That would be some kind of fun.
You spend a lot of time in Tampa, right? When you're down in Clearwater,
you scoot
up there.
Yeah. Well, now not so much because with the baby, I'm kind of sitting there, oh, look at this,
Don't blame you. Do not blame
and it's like, oh, I got to get down to the sandbar. Oh, but he's too cute. I can't let him go because I got to leave in a day, So it's kind of a little different scene, but I'm going to make time for that, But I don't know. What's that? You ready to wrap it up?
Sure.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you what, I was nursing this Christmas ale. Too much talking today. It's almost time to stop. When I start getting that little crusty white stuff in the corner of my mouth, that's always usually a good indication when I should slow down. That's God's way of saying, okay, you're talking too much now. Yeah, that would be on the party bus. Only it wouldn't just be in the corner, it might be down the side of your face. Hey, no more throwing shit on a bus.
If I get a grape in your mouth.
We ain't fooling around. This guy's pissed. Don't throw shit. Ah! A 2x4. This guy kept a 2x4 from the fight on the dock. Holy shit. We told you can't bring that on the bus.
Rules.
Yeah, we have rules here. And you know what's crazy? I think that brawl that happened that day was on the I think it was two people. It was two groups from Youngstown. It wasn't even like, strange people or whatever. It was go figure that. Two busloads of people from Youngstown, and then they get into it. But you know what? It ain't like it used to be. But you know what? We had so many great party buses, though. Seriously. I mean, we gave a lot of people a lot of chances to go to some really great shows, like VIP style. I mean, when you get to go and do that and just not a care in the world, and except us at the end going, oh, I hope they didn't crash this bus.
Right.
Then the following day, usually the Monday, Dominic, our
bill.
general manager would, what happened on that bus? Why is Anderson Tours calling here?
Cracked window, grapes everywhere.
I don't know. I don't know why they could be calling you. I didn't see anything. I think that guy was a dick driving the bus, man. I think he's starting some trouble.
Yep.
He didn't get a big enough tip, and now he's pissed.
Yep.
That's what that's all about. There was nothing going on that bus. I don't know what that guy's talking about.
But he kept letting you do it, so he must have believed
well, you know why? It was such a big draw to win a ride on that bus to wherever we were going, wherever it would be, Cleveland Stadium to see the Who, and just Metallica and Kid Rock, and New Year's Day 2000, just everywhere. We the day at the Bay at Put in Bay was probably the wildest, but whenever there were shows around, man, and we would go, and everybody had a great time. And like I say, all right, you know what? Let me finish my Christmas ale here. This thing's got to be really warm too. It's been in the fridge since Christmas.
It was aged. Good.
You throw something at somebody.
No throwing glasses.
Tony's espresso glasses. I said no.
Don't make me pull this bus over.
I'll pull the plug on this podcast right now. You throw one more beer can at me and it's over. And try me. Just try me and see where this goes. All right. Well, there you have it. I got some guests lined up here at some point, Like I say, some days I just want to come down here and just sit here and drink and shoot the shit. That jibber jabber. There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. An hour of quality jibber jabber that you will not find anywhere else. Yep. All right. Well, that's our jibber jabber for tonight, and we'll be back next week with more jibber jabber. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook.